Hi. I used to watch your videos, and the last one made me laugh because, yes, revenge is my favorite. Because freaking Cal does that too, where he does it mostly with cereal. He'll eat almost all the cereal until there's like a quarter of a bowl of cereal left. Instead of just like pouring it in so he has a little more than a bowl, he just closes the box and puts it back in. Or sometimes there won't even be any cereal left. There'll be like 2 little cornflakes or whatever. And he'll put the box back because he's too lazy to unfold it and put it in the recycling. And just, bothers the crap out of me. So, I appreciate your revenge. My latest revenge for Cal doing things I'm hoping he's not listening to me, is I take his bookmark in his book and I move it a couple pages back or a couple pages forward, just so he's confused enough that he doesn't know where he is in his book, but it's not obvious that it got moved. Diabolical, I know. So, life's been crazy lately. We just had prom this weekend. That was really fun. Our group was me and Keenan and Jayla and Jenna and Izzy and Marissa and Dalton. It was real fun. Keenan and Jayla and I were on the decorating committee and, okay. You get to hear this story. I've told this story so many times over the past couple days. So I don't know if you know, probably not, but, our class advisors are Mr. Walter, who's pretty cool, and Mrs. Reese, who is the stupidest hoe to ever live. Huh. So anyway, we're at the first prom meeting way back in January or something. I don't even remember. But it was a long time ago. And there was 15-ish kids there, whatever, and we knew our theme was masquerade. And, the decision we had to make at that meeting was whether we wanted it to be, Mardi Gras or, classy masquerade. And we decided classy masquerade because Mardi Gras is kind of meh. So, we decided we wanted a classy, not themey masquerade. So we didn't want, giant masks all over the small gym. So it wasn't, in your face, oh, it's a masquerade. We wanted it to be you're going to a masquerade ball and you can wear a mask if you want. Mrs. Reese, from the beginning, hated that idea. She hated everything about it. She thought that because there weren't masks hanging everywhere, that nobody would know it's a masquerade. Have you ever fucking been to a masquerade? I mean, that's a stupid question, because no, you haven't, because nobody goes to masquerades anymore. But do you know what a masquerade is? It's not a dance with masks hanging on the wall. You wear the masks. As Jenna said, the people wear the masks, not the walls. So, whatever. We continue soldiering on, not having giant masks. What she really wanted was giant masks hanging on the basketball hoops. No, that is so dumb. So we said, no, we're not doing that. And then Keenan, Jayla, and Nicole and I were the wall committee, so that was our domain. We designed what we were going to do for the basketball hoops and the walls. And so through the whole thing, she's trying to come up with ideas for giant masks. She shows Keenan and Jayla once this, a cardboard cutout of a window, and, the window kind of looks medievally, I guess, but then outside the window are giant masks! Who looks outside their window and sees giant masks? No one. So yes, that obviously wasn't happening. And then our 2 options for color schemes were red, black, and cream, or purple, black, and cream. And the reason we might have gone with purple, black, and cream was because we had extra purple fabric left over from, some prom a few years ago. And so we're oh, well, maybe if we like that fabric, then yeah, sure, let's go with purple, because then we can reuse fabric and save money. So she brings down the fabric, and it is this horrible, almost bluish purple color. And then it has, so it's iridescent. And then it has coppery orange threads going through it, so when it hits the light, it's coppery. And oh god, it's so ugly. It is so disgusting. So we're well, clearly we're not going with purple. So we're going with red. So, with all the decisions are made, whatever, we're at Friday, building day. Jayla and I went up to Proma to her grandpa, uncle's rental place that he owns, because he was giving us, or letting us use some torches that he has, like, standing on the ground, and they have, like, fake flames in them, and they look really cool. He was letting us use those for free. So we go up there, and we get back at, like, 11, and, of course, there's all these the preppy people that never showed up to one committee meeting, but have decided to help decorate. Which, I mean, whatever, they can help, but then they, of course, think they're in charge, and it's like, excuse you. No. So, we get there, and they have giant black cardboard with, like, little bejewels on them that you buy at Joann Fabrics, and you, like, can glue on things, and, like, bright, colorful, and, like, some of them are in the shape of hearts and stars, and these are put all over these black masks, and they just sit on the floor. And I'm like, well, those are hideous, and I don't know what they're planning to do with them, but they ain't going in here. So I go over to the people that who are working on the basketball hoops, and I'm like, so, what you guys planning to do with those masks? And they're like, oh, Mrs. Reese told us to make them and put them on the basketball hoops. No. So I told them, I'm like, well, no, we're not doing that. We decided at our first meeting that we weren't doing anything like that. So I'm sorry that you put time into that. Put them somewhere else, but they aren't going in the gym. Sorry, that's the decision we made as a committee. So that kind of ends it. Walk away. Then Jail and I are working on one basketball hoop, and then that group of people, the preppies, is working on the other basketball hoop. And so I'm up on the ladder, like, hanging tulle from the hoop, and I look over, and they start carrying the mask up their ladder. And I'm like, I yell across the gym, like, we're not putting those up there. We're not doing that. And they start being like, oh, put it up anyway. And I was like, no, we're not doing that. And so I'm yelling at them across the gym. So I storm down the ladder. I walk over there. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. We decided at the first meeting, we're not doing that. And freaking Danny Lumens comes in and goes, we have decided because Mrs. Reese wants the masks up on the basketball hoops, that is what we're going to do. And I'm like, Mrs. Reese does not get a say. This is our prom, not hers. And then Katie Harn goes, well, it's our prom too. You don't get to make the decisions. And I was like, excuse you. Every Friday morning for months, I have been in Mr. Walter's room planning prom. Have you? No. And Marissa Rostrack goes, well, some of us have sports and jobs. At 7:15 on Friday mornings, honey? I don't think so. But anyway, so there's this huge argument about it, and it's basically me and Jayla and Keenan yelling at everybody else. And of course, nobody's siding with us because we're not popular. And so then pizza comes, and I was like, oh, let's eat pizza instead of talk about decisions. I'm really upset, and so I storm off into the stairway that led up to the old mat room. And I called my mom, and I was all upset. I was crying. And then I got a bloody nose, and I was hiding in the stairway, and I'm like, I can't leave now, because they're all in the hallway eating pizza, and I can't walk out there with a bloody nose, crying, and look embarrassing. And so I'm just sitting there, holding my nose, crying, talking on the phone to my mom. And so, eventually Keenan came to my rescue. He brought me some paper towel, because he's my hero. And then I went to the bathroom once the hallway cleared out, but yeah, But yeah, eventually Mr. Walter ended up standing up for me. From Mrs. Reese, he told her that no, she was stupid, and so they ended up not getting up on the basketball hoop. So yeah, I win, even though I went and cried like a baby. But yeah, I told myself I wasn't gonna care this much, and I didn't really care about the stupid mask. Like I didn't give a shit what the gym looked like for real. I didn't care. It was the principle of the thing. It was the fact that Mrs. Reese thinks this is her prom, and no. So yeah, that was my Proma, as Alexa Burtz says. Like drama, but Proma. Ah, it's so funny.